tonight, please put your hands together for the one, the only, Jake Sinicki.
Yeah! Maybe get a better job. If I never quit my job, at least I've got a job.
Hey! It's a hazard. So, thank you all so much for coming tonight. I want to get that out of the way.
Yeah!
Yeah! There are a few other things I want to get out of the way. No, I don't need these glasses. I wear them to look smarter, and I shouldn't lie to you. Second thing I gotta get out of the way. I know another thing you're thinking. I didn't think he'd sound like that. I wasn't anticipating that voice. It's not bad. I just didn't think it would happen. It's okay. I've gotten that before. I did 4 years of theater, and the one thing I heard more than "great job" and "you look a lot like Data from Star Trek" was that your voice sounds funny. And I know, and I did some deducing, and I figured out why. When I was 6, I moved to Ireland and learned to read like a leprechaun. So that has something to do with it. My dad's from Chicago, so that must have damaged me somehow. I took 4 years of German, and I have this weird habit of like starting Duolingo languages at level 1 and then quitting.
Yes.
I'm on Polish right now. Jem jetzt meskivnia, ja jestem kotiet. That's it. What I'm trying to get at is I sound like the American dream. It's all just coming together into my voice. I tried, though, I was excited. I kind of got really into like heritage recently. I was like, I want to know what I'm from. Where am I from? Who am I? So I started getting into that, which is hard because my last name is Sinicki, which is a very Polish name, and I'm not Polish. My dad's stepdad was Polish. So, I mean, that doesn't stop us from going to Polish restaurants and trying to soak in all of our heritage. Which is just me trying to commune with my ancestors through borscht. Wave around, you can bring them here. I love borscht. I don't know. There's a weird thing about borscht. Every time I bring it up, people are like, borscht? I'm like, it's like just vinegar and beets. And beets are just like if you took the hearts of your enemies and made them into candy. And then you make a soup from it. It's only good, but I digress. Okay, so we're at a Polish restaurant. We're meeting some family, and the guy who was serving us, we couldn't tell if he was great, but we couldn't tell if he was super Polish or just super fabulous. It was like one or the other. He walked up and he's like, "Oh, we're in Chicago." He's like, "Oh, you're from Oregon? That's so far away. I hope you're flying." There was one man who came here and said he's driving to North Dakota from here to Chicago. I said, "You're so stupid." Here's your borscht. I've been trying to emulate him through my Polish learning. Yeah, it's my kid now. But no, I did some digging. Turns out I'm Lithuanian. Yeah. No, that was the right response. Just if you don't know what it is, it's like Poland's dumpster baby left on Russia's doorstep. It's great. If you ever go to the capital Vilnius, go check out the Satan Museum, because that's all that's there. I want to go. Vilnius sounds like a place that would have a Satan Museum. Like, if you're going to go raise Satan, where are you going to? Vilnius. Sounds good. I had one of the best jobs this past half a year. I worked at a daycare after school. It was kindergarten through 5th grade. It was the best job in the world for 2 reasons. One, it's super fun being the cool uncle. Like, don't knock it till you try it, because they're just used to old people hanging out with them, and then I show up, and then every other day it's like, "Jake, you like Adventure Time? And Jake, you know the name of all the Avengers?" "Yes, Darren, I do." I was a llama amongst sheep. As opposed to my usual deal, which is a llama amongst alpaca, which is just awkward. But it's super great. But what would start happening is like we'd scratch the surface, like all the Star Wars stuff, and it was super cool. But then the kids would go on and try and get personal. And they knew I was older than them, but they didn't know I was 20. And when they figured out I was 20, they kind of do this little scrunchy face like, "Are you married yet?" "No, I don't want to be Darren." "Oh, okay. Do you have a house yet?" "No." "Why not?" "I'm in school. I'm trying to stay fun." Looking at me like that, Darren. Fucking Darren. So I'd have to go off and find a different group of kids to go impress other than just Darren. Those kids. It's following me. There's another reason that job was awesome. Like the drama the kids would go through. And not like the older kids. Like the old kids, like the 5th graders, they just find a corner and brood and wait for the day that Depeche Mode made sense to them. Just hang out. But the little kids would go through these soap opera-esque vignettes every other day, and it took all of my willpower not to laugh at every single one of them. My favorite example, I was hanging out, I was just watching the kids, and I noticed there was an argument happening in the corner of my eye between 2 little boys. Arguing, and eventually one of them just turns like, his face is equal parts sorrow and just disappointment. He's like, "No." His friend behind him is just, I'm not exaggerating, but can we be friends again? I don't know. I just need some space. I then walked away. These are 6-year-olds. It was amazing. Those dumb kids. So I've gotten better at texting girls, which is a good thing to get good at. It's good to get better at, but there's definitely a lot of trial and error getting to the point of being good at that. I remember a few months ago, I was texting this girl, and it had been a few days, and I sent the last text. And I was like, do I send it out? I don't know. So I go to my brother. He's more charismatic and smarter about this stuff than I am. He's always very wise, has the best words for the situation. I'm like, "Sam, I haven't texted her in a while. Should I start it up again? I don't know." He goes, "Oh no, go for it." Very wise words. So I'm hanging out there, and I'm just like freaking out. Like in the moment, if you had asked me, this text was on par with a marriage proposal. Like I was going insane. Like it felt like they were like the launch codes of a bunch of old Russian nukes. I'm like, what am I gonna do? Eventually, I just spasm and send it. The text in question was just, "Hey, do you like podcasts?" That was all it was. But if you ask me, it was a Shakespearean sonnet at the time. But I sent it, and I immediately just threw it on the table face down and just walked away. But I happened to put it on a table that's very central to my house's build. So I'd have to pass it a lot. And I would react physically every time. So So that's hard, because I'm a bit of an outward processor. The texting has gotten better, the outward processing hasn't. For me, what happens is I feel like I just have a lot of thoughts going on all of the time, and every so often they just decide to skip the parts of my brain they say, "Yeah, that's a good idea," and just go right out. It's that kind of thought process that ends up me like in the middle of the grocery store just like, "Are these my teeth?" And just keep walking, freaking out the little girl and her mom in the Asian food section. But it's good. I feel like it's just, there's like a little TSA stand for thoughts that I have in here, and everyone's just off duty. They're all just hanging out, they're super chill, and like I check in, I'm like, "You guys checking anything?" Like he's like, "Yeah, no, we got it." Then these shady guys come up and they're like, "Hey, we want to make an angry face. Let's make an angry face." I'm like, "Should you check those guys?" Like, "Nah, they'll be fine." In the produce section. Not mad at anything, I'm just upset. It's like these people are like, "I already thought he was autistic, but does he have Tourette's too?" Like, it's not quirky anymore. It's just a condition. And by the way, when was mental illness ever quirky? Like, I missed that train because, like, when I was in high school, the girls were never, like, when I was freaking out about the smell of cucumbers, girls were never like, it's just so mysterious. I don't know what he's going to do next. It's like a Wes Anderson movie, but a person. Or when I was hyperventilating in the hallways because of how many people there were, and I just wanted to curl up into a ball, no one was ever like, girls, listen, get you a man who can do both. Never happened. That's probably why I was in TAG. TAG was a program I was in when I was in grade school. TAG, talented and gifted. No, it wasn't that. It really just turns out just a low-key way for our teachers to be like, yeah, we're pretty sure that one's autistic. We should do something with them. And like, it wasn't a bad idea. Like, the whole thought process was, let's just get these kids together and give them a spot. Because we can't tell if this is a condition or they're just super socially self-destructive. Can't tell between the two. So they just got us all together and they just give us projects. And it would have been cool if it wasn't for the fact that they had about a 20% success rate. Out of the 8 people there, there was like 2 people with autism, and the rest of us were just nerds who would one day be really into Pink Floyd. So we're all hanging out, and like we're just doing like, and by projects, I don't mean like fun, like, hey, we're in grade school projects. We're doing like reports. Like we're hanging out in class, and we're thinking, I'm like, yeah, not that this isn't like the most fun thing ever, but why are we doing reports on different types of coniferous trees? The teacher's like, yeah, well, Quinn back there's been bringing back bark samples from recess, and we're trying to see if he's like just super into trees or maybe like he's a super genius. We're not sure. All of the projects were just like depth chargers to find the savant within the group. And for a while there, my personality was continuously mistaken for autism, without any of the inspirational bonuses. Like there was no like knowing how to play Chopin without ever hearing it or making watercolors with my feet. I just made people uncomfortable. So dating's hard. Part of what makes it difficult, like for me, is that I exist in the realm that if you're under the age of 60, you're a child. Me included, but like if you haven't lived most of your life, I don't think you're ready for the commitments of a real relationship. Like, I know so many people who, like so many couples that are my age and a little bit older, they're out just together and like, no, really, they're the one, we can make it work, it's gonna be great. No, it's gonna be fine. I would do anything for her. Of course you would do anything for her. You're 80% hormones and 20% baby brains. Dumb, shitty-ass babies. And like, once you hit about 60, then you're 80% baby brains, which is equal to about like 4 normal babies. And at that point, I feel like 4 babies can make normal, like, basic decisions about, like, life-changing decisions. Like, if you're, like, my 20, that's maybe half a baby's worth of brains. Someone asks me, hey, do you want to get married? That half a baby isn't going to be able to do anything but just cry. 4 babies, 2 of them will probably cry. 1 of them will just kind of hang around, but maybe another one will crawl up to the person asking me and maybe make a decision. We're not adding skill, we're just adding variables. I think you can do it. And if you think I'm wrong about this, here's a test. So there are 2 types of older couples in the world. There are only 2. There are sad ones and happy ones. There are only those 2. Ask them how long they've been together, just off the cuff. The older couple will be like, 45 long years, stuck with this old ball and chain, am I right? This happy couple will go off and be like, well, you know, there are a lot of things you do in a relationship to keep it afloat. You know, you really... They're dodging the question because they're not actually married. They've been dating for 2 months. That older guy, he's not smiling because of his successful relationship. He's smiling because he got to second base for the first time since 1975. And I think it's awesome, though, because, like, it doesn't matter what stuff you like at that point. Like, you don't need a lot of interest, I think. Like, I'm at a sad point right now where if you're not into Tom Waits just as much as I am, I'm begin doubting any chance of a relationship. At that point, it's like, hey, you single? Yeah. You want to hang out for a while and continue our trend of not dying? Yeah. And that's about it. That's the basis for a healthy relationship, just not dying. And then eventually dying. Because that's like the high school girl dream that I keep seeing pop up on Facebook all the time. It's like, I want to die in his arms, Notebook style. If you hook up at 75, your chances of that happening just increase exponentially.
Notebook style.
Why do you talk about death so much, Jake? I'll tell you, Darren. I think for the most part, it just like confuses me, and I have to figure it out. Like, one of the things that confuses me is like our perception of it. Like, one of the things that was bopping around in my head recently was the term, I'd just rather be dead. I'd rather be dead. I'm doing this thing, I'd rather be dead. You don't know that. You're not sure about that. But then I started thinking of it more, and I started getting the sentiment. Like, okay, I mean, I'm okay doing this, but but I'd rather go off and date a young Lucy Lawless pre-Xena Warrior Princess era. I don't know for sure I want to do that, but it sounds a lot better than just what we're doing right now. I call it the hell or high water effect, where no matter what you're doing, no matter how mundane it is, you're just willing to chance death and the fact that it just might be hell. Like you're like, I'd rather be dead, so you're like, let's do it. You go there and you're just trapped in a fire pit with some imp shoving fire ants up your butt. I guarantee you that guy's gonna be like, beats Mondays. So that's that. The other thing is like I really don't like being surprised. Like, I don't want to be surprised when I die, so I think that if I just say enough random things, something will stick and it'll just happen to be right. Like, I'll die and I'll go off to the afterlife, and then it turns out it's just a giant version of the It's a Small ride from Disney World, and all of the characters have Willem Dafoe's face, and God's just like a giant crab with baby hands for eyes. I'll show up and be like, oh yeah. You gotta be like, seriously, you're not freaking out right now? Like, I didn't leave any clues that this is what was gonna happen. Like, there was no chances you could have anticipated this. It's like, yeah, I thought it up while writing for a comedy thing, so here we are. It's less of a session, I'm just trying to prep for the worst. Yeah, so drinking is cool. I don't like to do segues. But drinking is cool. I'm glad I figured that out. I'm turning 21 in a few months. And I'm glad I figured this out recently. So I went to Germany when I was 16. And I had my second grade just say no to drugs and alcohol kids thought process writing in the back of my head. And I was ready. And I went to this girl's birthday party in Germany. And I went up and she's like, oh hey, thank you so much for coming. Do you want a beer? I'm like, oh, no thank you. Oh, that's fine. But then she caught me off guard. Would you like some champagne? Because there's a difference. Because over there, apparently one is just a soda and the other one's a vitamin. One's for a party, the other one's for your health. But then the party kind of went on, and I saw these just people about my age just drinking responsibly and hanging out. I'm like, oh wait, no, this is badass. This is cool. Because in second grade and grade school, they always do that thing of people are going to come up and ask you, do you want to drink? They're going to drink and they're going to come up to you and be like, hey, you want to be cool like us? You want to be cool and drink? Two things. One, no one has ever said that to me ever in that tone. Second, the tone is wrong. Because what it should be is, hey, just so you know, drinking is cool. Because it's just a fact at this point. It's not peer pressure. They're just helping you be cooler. Is what I think. Yeah. But I'm excited to be able to do that, especially, like, I'll be 21 and I'll be able to go to concerts and drink alcohol, which will be fun. Because I go to a lot of metal concerts, big surprise there. And, like, I'm excited. I love this thing called the mosh pit. Some of you might know of it. For those who don't, it's that area in front of the stage where everyone's just jumping around, going nuts and going ham, just having a fun time to the music. Mosh pits, I like to run like a gruff but lovable boss at an office. I go off and find the edge and I just hang out and I do power stance. Because what the mosh does is it breathes in, it goes out, in and out. And if no one's on the edge, a bunch of people pushing them back, it's just going to engulf the entire area with the power of Satan. So I'm hanging out there, I'm in power stance, push, gruff but lovable boss kicks in. Hey! How many is that? 2 beers? Okay, you have to spill half of that on someone's shoes, okay? Okay, go in. Hey. How many leather studs is that? 12? Okay, be careful, go in. For real, this one time, I was hanging out at the edge, and this guy, I called him Jared in my head. He was just walked in full business attire, like glasses, slick back hair. He probably left his briefcase at the front door. It's like, pardon me? Excuse me, pardon me. And I saw the Satan hitting him and goes, what? And jumps right into the mosh pit. Good job, Jared, employee of the month. But it's fun. And like, that's my job at the mosh. I can't start the mosh. Because then because I'm just the giant, I'm the 6-foot gangly guy. He's like, let's do this! And everyone's like, chill out. This is metal, not whatever else people do that at. I don't go to a lot of things. So I'm kind of hanging out of this one. I'm like, okay, you're going to get it started at some point. And I see out of the corner of my eye, a girl about my age. She's about that tall. And like, she's not like punked out at all. Like, no metal t-shirt. She's just like a shirt and a backpack. I glance at her. She seems pretty normal. Glance back, and I see just power of Satan berserker face on her. Both arms out and clotheslines the entire crowd. 5 of us fell in love that night. I know because some other guy was asking her out when I would have. And another one. So you got to be careful at your moshes, and you got to be careful who you bring. I brought my brother to a metal concert, and it was his first time. He was having super much fun, hanging out, super fun, pushing. Good job, Jared. Darren, why are you here? Pushing. And I noticed Sam was out of my sights. I'm like, I don't know where to go. And what happened was, the mosh had breathed in, breathed out, super much so. And Sam was over here, and he got sucked in, and I caught him just in time to see his face be like, I'm all the way over here, and I'm like, luckily for him, the song ended like right there, so he was able to get out. I saw the relief. He's ready to go. He turns around, and then the guitar intro for the next song starts, and it's his favorite song. The power of Satan washes over him, and he jumps in like a good American. Love my little brother. It's funny though, because like, I've kind of existed in his shadow socially for a long time, which I'm fine with, but he's just much more charismatic than I am. Like, so we both did theater together, and so we're going in. It's my senior year and his freshman year. We're walking in, and it's the winter, and we're going up backstage for a performance. And we're wearing our winter attire. Sam's winter attire: pea coat, scarf, boots, nice little tip of the hat. That's not a type of hat, it's just he has one somehow. It looks good. I'm next to him, and I look like the conspiracy theorist underneath the Hawthorne Bridge. Just like a meth coat, a scarf up to here, and like a fur hat of something I probably killed recently. And we're both walking up, and there's a crowd of people who I've known all of high school. I've known them the entire time. They know I have this jacket, and we're walking up, and they turn and they see the two of us. It's like, Sam! Sam, what's up, buddy? Sam! Looking good. I pull him. Hey! Oh, hey, Jake. Hey, carry on. And it's fine. It's just funny comparing the little things. Like, when you find out Sam likes anime, there's kind of that moment of like, that's really worldly of you. Like, that's open-minded and artsy. Like, wow, that really kind of changed the way I look at that. And then I kind of pop out behind him like, you know, I watch anime too. And the person's like, well, yeah, duh. I didn't even have to ask you, I just guessed it. And like, I think the universe is trying to tell me specifically to stop watching anime, because whenever people walk in on Sam watching it, it's always that like, the art is as beautiful as it could be, that it's like the pinnacle of the plot, everything's going action-y, and it's that same thing. It's like, wow, I didn't know it was like this. Whenever you walk up on me, it's always at that senpai no moment. I'm like, no, I swear this just happened. It was about robots 5 minutes ago. Yeah, right. It's just weird things. So I'm gonna level with you guys. I tried to write a segue to this next bit, trying to make it smoother so then I didn't just start talking about octopuses out of nowhere. That didn't happen, so here we go. I love octopuses. My friends are in the audience right now, and they're like, of course you start writing about jackass. Love octopuses. And like, what happened recently is my love of this critter just kind of ruined my mom's appetite for sushi. We went out for sushi and my mom got the octopus and she's like, hey Jake, you want to try something? I'm like, nope. Octopuses are people too. And by the way, it's octopuses. If you're going to be like, Jake, it's octopi. No, it's not, you're wrong. And if you're an octopode person, go get a life. Anyways. Like, no, octopuses are people too. And around that time, I posted a story about octopuses, where at a research facility, when one of the octopuses didn't like one of the handlers, and I don't mean like, that's the first red flag, I don't mean like didn't like animalistic, like, not a fan, bite. It was more of a, like, they could just be malcontent with someone. Just form like, that guy's kind of shady, I'm not getting a good vibe off of them. So that's the first red flag that they're people. What they would do is, in that event, they would just squirt water at them. Just like, fuck up. So, I'm hanging out, and my mom walks up to me, and she has this pouty face. I'm like, what's up? She goes, I read the story. Octopi are people too. I'm like, oh, Mom, it's octopuses. Man, I want to go, that love of that octopuses kind of has inspired me to go scuba diving, which I think would be cool. And I've kind of gotten over my fear of claustrophobia. Fear of claustrophobia. Phobia of claustrophobia. Fear of claustrophobia. Fear is weird though, and like, I think everyone has feared something, and like, I've done the same thing, but I think everyone at one point, unironically, no matter your gender, no matter how macho you are, everybody at one point has thought, yeah, you know, I'm basically not afraid of anything. Like, basically have no fear at all, which isn't true. Like, I took 7 years of martial arts, and I always was under the impression, like, if things went down, I'd be like, nuh-uh. Take that. No. Nobody, no matter how cool you are, does that. If things go down, essentially you're like, just crying. Heroes are people that go, That's a hero to me. And like, I had a sobering moment recently that taught me that like everyone, that just fear is a thing. I was driving in my car I went under a tree, and a giant leaf fell from the tree and hit my windshield. And I responded, "Ha!" and swerved just a little bit to avoid it. Now I know what you're thinking. I know I was not afraid of the leaf. I was under the impression, though, that an alien invasion was starting, and I didn't want to have my brain sucked out. So that's where I was at that day. I'm gonna leave you with this story I have. I try not to get political with my comedy because I don't think anyone is ever smart enough to talk about politics intelligently. But I'm gonna keep it fun. It's gonna be light. It's gonna be chill. But so, a lot of things have been annoying everyone recently about everything. One of the things that really got me was the Muslim ban. That was the one that really annoyed me, and part of the reason that really got me about it was I go to a technical school. There are a lot of Muslim people there. Like I didn't know how many there were in Oregon. They're all there. And they were the kindest, nicest people, and I loved talking to all of them. And I had a moment when, like, the media perception and my brain's perception, it was all tested. So I was hanging out in chemistry, and we're doing this test. We're basically involved in magnesium and water. If you know what magnesium and water do, it's stressful because they explode. And the whole idea of the test was that you burn the magnesium and then you put the water on to test to make sure it doesn't explode. Whoever thought that up needs to get fired, because that's like looking at a stick of dynamite. Like, is that lit? I don't know. Let me light it. Let's check. So we're doing that, and it's me, it's my usual lab partner Isaac, and it's my Muslim friend Majid, who's awesome. And so the room's a little tense, and so Isaac and I, geniuses as we are, we're just joking about stuff to kind of alleviate the stress. And we're trying to be very careful about the subject matter, explosives and everything like that. And eventually, though, we get on the topic of Molotov cocktails. I don't remember how, I just remember that happened. And at one point, Majed goes, "What's that?" And we're like, "It's like the easiest bomb you can make. You just like, it's alcohol and you put a fuse to it." We're like a little like, this is a little weird. He goes, "Why wouldn't you just drink the alcohol? Like, if you're that mad, I think that'll solve your problems." And we just kind of carried here that, you know, they're gonna explode everything, they're gonna terrorize everything. Like, it's wrong. And like, so what I'm gonna start doing now, if people start thinking that around me, I'm gonna hang out and wait for Christian people to come by and be like, "Is it okay that he's here?" "Well, no, I mean, I'm just afraid. Are we afraid he's gonna inquisition the entire school?" "I'm just worried about our safety." That's wrong, though. It's just, they're just here to go to school. That's all he's doing. That's all Majid is doing, is he's going to school and he's teaching some kids soccer on the weekends. And my voice sounds funny, but that's what the actual American dream sounds like. Yes, Darren. Thanks, guys.